Hi, I'm Julia. I'm a sophomore here at Harvard, and I am here with Li-Ming, who is an international admissions officer for the college. So tell me a little bit about what that means, like your job.
So I'm an international admissions officer and I read most of the southern and eastern parts of Africa. I also read other parts of the domestic application pool as well. But for international, I think that it's very important that prospective students know that we have international admissions officers who are experts and understand the different schooling systems, the different grading systems, as well as the different national exams that you might have and the different types of courses that you might take. Other international admissions officers who perhaps read a different area, they understand your qualifications when you're applying to Harvard College.
You yourself were an international student. Did that sort of affect you deciding to work in admissions and also working for international admissions?
Yes, it did. I was an international student coming in to study in the US for college, and I really did find that that whole process was really did influence me to where I am right now. I began still remember, bringing in that thick kind of paper booklet of looking through all of the different colleges and finding out which college really fit what I was looking for. And I knew I wanted to go to a liberal arts college, but didn't know, where to see besides, their website and this thick kind of like a phone book of all these different types of colleges out there. And I really wanted to be part of the process of understanding, demystifying, the process and clarifying what is needed when you are going to apply to college. And I knew that admissions was the place for me. I know especially, different types of kind of people have different access to admissions information, and I didn't want them to sort of struggle in any sort of way thinking, oh, is this a good fit for me? Do I reach out? What questions do I have? And I think being an admissions officer, especially for international, helps a lot because there's so
Yeah.
many different types of university or like post high school ways that people go to tertiary education or something like that. And I think it's really important to be able to help demystify, especially the college application, especially in the US.
I know there even in the United States there kind of is I mean just in the US alone there's kind of a big gap in knowledge that people have when it comes to the admissions process depending on the region they live, this high schools that they go to. There is even that gap among American students.
Yeah.
So to go to international students where it's a whole different I guess education system and how applications and stuff work, what do you feel is, I guess, the part of the American university education that applicants sort of you like to give them more help with, that they don't really know, that you would like them to know?
I think there are a couple. I think for one, a big difference for me, especially I remember, is that you can look at American universities and you learn more about the liberal arts college system, and you'll see, right, liberal arts college, what does that mean? There are a lot of professional pathways to tertiary education outside the US. People might think, oh, I immediately want to go to law school, and that might totally work for you in a place like South Africa, where I'm from. But in the US, that's not how it works. You do a bachelor's degree first, and then you apply for law school, and that's a postgraduate degree. So just understanding that part, I think, was a huge sort of jump, especially with parents who didn't understand the system and knew immediately, hey, you should be doing something immediately into the professional field. Like, what is this liberal arts college system? But I think I really benefited from the liberal arts system. I came in thinking I was doing computer science. Imagine.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And then after a while of just having the opportunity to be able to explore, take classes from from anything from I took art history classes to some film editing classes to my computer science classes, as you can tell, I wasn't that excited about.
Oh,
But having that opportunity really does open up your kind of mind to things beyond just perhaps what you've been exposed to because of what, perhaps people what they're doing, or even what others tell you that you're good at, but maybe you want to explore something different. So I think
yeah.
liberal arts college is something that I really do feel like I'm explaining a lot to international students of how it is a benefit and how you can go on to postgraduate education to do the law, the business, the medical school, um, and for example, if you are in a I think something that I do explain as well to American students is when you are down that professional track, sometimes you do feel a little bit too narrow. For example, say if you're doing accounting and you're 2 years into accounting and you think, hey, actually, I kind of want to do law. You have to go back to first year law to go all over again. And I think as an 18, 19-year-old coming in and deciding already
It's
100% what you're doing,
stressful.
right? It is
Yeah.
stressful, even for someone like a senior or junior who has to make that decision and is about to
Yeah.
graduate.
How does like financial aid um play into the admissions process? Like is it different for like international students versus US students? Like what's the deal with it?
International students will receive aid exactly like domestic students. We are need-based, but we are also need-blind, meaning that when we're going through the admissions process, no matter where you're from, any country across the world, including the US, we don't know what your financial need is. We look at you as a holistic person, and then after we make that decision, and we really want you to come. We're committed to supporting you financially regarding your demonstrated financial need. So also international students need to know that the application process as well is exactly the same. We don't separate we do have international admissions officers like myself, but I also read domestic applications as well. And all the international admissions officers are people who are completely, are very knowledgeable about the all the countries, their systems of, we use GPAs in the US, but other countries will use different grading systems. And every international admissions officer is very well informed about that education system and how to understand what courses you take. We always get questions about, we don't do AP classes, we don't do honors classes in my country, and that's totally fine. We want to make sure that you're taking the most rigorous classes that you can in yours, in your what is available to you in your school, and showing that you are able to do the work when you do come to Harvard. That's the most important part as well. So I think that is also something that I think a lot of international prospective students do reach out about. We know that there are lots of different types of education systems out there, and our international admissions officers are all very well informed and do understand all of those different nuances.
Do you guys get a lot of questions from like applicants? I never reached out during the application
Oh, you
process. No, I didn't. Like
didn't.
I think there were like some schools that but I don't think I ever reached out for Harvard. I think I may have sent because I applied early action and then got deferred, and I kind of sent something in that I was like, here's some things that happened since I first
That's
submitted my application because I had a lot of updates. But which is something that you can do.
Yes.
I never I didn't reach out because I also am like a little bit of a not shy person, but I don't want to be like, I don't want to be a bother, But like, so do you get like a lot of people like reaching out, and is it encouraged?
Yes, reach out if you have a question. We're always here to answer any questions that you might have, and always here to kind of, like I said earlier, demystify the process, because this is the process that families and students will go through, well, depending on if you have siblings or not, but, will go through once in their life.
Yeah.
And it is a lot of pressure, but we are really here to answer any of those questions that you have. And if it's not me, it's someone else who is more knowledgeable than me. Our office is always there to sort of ready to answer any questions. If I don't know the answer, I can pass it on to someone who I think will know the answer. So I think that students shouldn't be shy about reaching out if you do have a question. All of the questions also do inform us of, these are these frequently asked questions that do come up. Maybe we should, talk about it like this,
Yeah.
or maybe
Yeah.
put them on the website or
Very
something like
useful.
that. So we do appreciate all questions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, especially like if you're an only child, like you were
Yeah.
talking about, like my I have an older brother who like went through the whole college process like 2 years before me. Then there was me, and now my younger
Oh
brother, like
yeah.
he's done. He's a senior. He got into a school. He's good. He's committed. But
Congrats.
like there was a lot of times where he was like, "Oh, yeah, thank you. I'm very excited to
Yeah.
get a new college sweatshirt."
Oh, nice.
But like that sort of like he talked to me, like he asked me a lot of questions. He asked my older brother a lot of questions because he was applying to the school that he went to. So it was just like having, that support system like within our family. But like if you don't have that, like admissions is there. And even if you do have that, admissions is there.
Yeah.
That's very nice to know. And if I heard this, I would have reached out with questions.
Now you know, and now you're telling other people all about it.
So like when international students are here at Harvard, like what resources does the college have like for international students?
So international students have access to all the support networks and the support systems that are available to all students. And that might include, when you're a first year, you have a proctor, which is someone who lives in the dorm with you as an adult that is affiliated with Harvard. Then you also have your PAF, which is a peer advising fellows, another student who's there to support you from an upper level, and as well as you have an academic advisor who's there to help you with any questions regarding your academics. So those are when you first come in as a first year, you get that support network as well as many of the academic resources. International students also have access to the Woodbridge International Society, which is a student organization for international students to build community. They host events, as well as they also are the ones who are leading the first year international program, a pre-orientation program for international students before they come on campus. They are led by international students and be able to kind of integrate into the campus, as well as the things that you might not think that international students will be thinking about, such as opening a bank account and what if I need some sort of ID, or what getting around, those types of things, to be able to have students feel like they're a little bit more stable and on their feet when they get on campus. There's also the Harvard International Office, which is there to help you with any visa questions you have when you come on campus, any questions about if you wanted to do any if you want to work on campus, things like that. And international students are able to work on campus as well, which is a great opportunity for them. Um, another network that students might have are a lot of other international-based student organizations that sometimes is with the countries that you're from and sharing your culture through those countries, helping you feel at home. So there are a lot of different ways that students will feel supported through administrative side, as well as finding community on campus.
And off topic, on topic.
Yes.
International students, can they study abroad through through the college?
Yes, so they can. International students, I guess you'll be studying abroad and then studying abroad.
Studying abroad twice.
Yeah.
I actually knew the answer to that already because I have a friend who's doing it.
Yeah, so they can.
Yeah.
They can, and I think that's a fantastic opportunity too, because I think studying abroad is so important. As an undergrad, you really are, I feel like it's a special time in your lifetime to be able to have that opportunity, and depending on your financial aid also travels with you, so it'll support you no matter where you decide to go. If you want to do a summer abroad, if you want to do something different, volunteering, research. So I think that's great.
What do you think you want like all prospective international students to know about coming to Harvard?
Good question. So one thing that I really want international students to know when they come on campus is that they will be part of a really wonderful and unique community. I would say that all the undergrads that I have met at Harvard College, from international, domestic, everyone, they are, I think, so kind and wonderful, and like yourself, so open to sharing knowledge. And so I think that is one thing that we do get a lot of questions about sometimes for international students is you learn about Harvard the application process, okay, then I get in, the visa process, all these tick boxes that you need to get into college. But I think it's more than that. I think it's the community that really does make your experience, especially 4 years that you're going to be spending at Harvard. And I think really thinking about sometimes there are decisions to be made of, oh, I really want, I can't make that decision between different schools. And I do want to say that Harvard College students are one of the most wonderful that I've ever met. I didn't go to Harvard, but I know that from speaking to students, from working with students, that I think the community really does make a difference in where you spend the next 4 years of your life. So I think that is something I want to let the international students know, that you might not be able to visit campus. You might be able to only do a virtual tour or a virtual info session, and definitely do those because students are there to answer questions as well, but know that from firsthand experience that the students are wonderful, very collaborative, and very welcoming to all different types of people. Yeah.
It is. I can look at Harvard before coming here,
Yeah.
so I was just like, all right. I mean, I got in and I was like, okay, well, this is where I'm gonna go to school, but it was still like scary, and like everyone finds a place.
Yes.
Everyone finds a community because there's so many, like, it is such a diverse place with like so many different like types of people with different backgrounds and stuff. You will find someone, like, you'll find a people to like adhere to.
Yes.
Whether by force because of classes putting you together, or just like other like extracurriculars or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it all goes down, like, it comes down to just the fact that you have come and you have come from all different types of places and have come to Harvard. Perhaps you've never visited before, that's fine. But, thinking about the ways of coming from your high school and your educational background and your own background, and then coming to a place where can seem very foreign to you, even as a domestic student, but knowing that people are here who are excited for you to be here, who want you to be here, and who want you to succeed. And that, I think, really, for example, this is something that I learned from a student. They're always teaching me so many new things about Harvard and about all different types of things, is that for example, there are a lot of different academic resources for you here. Once you're here, we want you to succeed, obviously. And we have, for example, the Math Question Center, and you're there to have other students there who are there to help you. If you don't understand, you're not by yourself when you have, and I can't imagine doing applied math, but if you are,
scary.
Not as scary when you have this area, this place for you to just sit there and get help from upper level students, from tutors, from others. So I think that really does go to show that when you are here, you will be, you'll have all the resources you need to be successful.
My house does like math nights.
Ooh.
And I'll just like, oh, it's late at night. Let me just fill up my water before I go to bed. And I'll go downstairs and it'll be like 10 o'clock and it'll just be filled with people. And I'm like, what is going on? And everyone's just like talking and working together. Some people have snacks. Some people have like, like just like a whole like circle of people all just like talking and just like working together. Like, I'm like, oh, how lovely.
That is so nice.
Not me though. TDM.
Math is your problem.
Yeah, no. I'm like, oh, you guys have fun. This is for you. But it is just like, people are always so willing to like support each other. And there's so many, like you said, like there's so many events and stuff of just like, to help people like get on track and stay on track.
It is really nice. And especially when you're far from home, the support that you might have had there, is different when you leave and you're here with all these different people that you don't know, but support is there.
You'll find people at Harvard.
I like that. That should be a phrase for like the student's office. You'll find a people.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my gosh,
write down.
That's all my questions that I have. So is there like, because you're talking about like reaching out and stuff earlier, is there any way to like contact you guys that like students can find online or wherever?
Yeah, so you can contact the General Admissions Office, or if you have specific questions I want to hear from students, especially from the international side, I help lead the Harvard College Connection, and that is a group where we recruit students from international as well as rural areas, and we have students who are very excited to respond to your questions. So you can Google Harvard College Connection, and you'll find a contact form there.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was really fun.
It was so lovely to speak with you and also to learn about this, because the admissions process is very like scary. And like there's not a lot of like, or there is information, but it's kind of hard to like, I mean, at least for me, it's kind of hard to like figure out like where to find the stuff. So it was so
Yeah.
great to like hear from you and just be able to get like your perspective as someone who works on the other side of the process.
And it's always nice to hear from students. The question I always ask students is, how was your admissions process like? And understanding where perhaps some information gap is and how we can change that. So I'm very glad that you're doing this and you can share it with others, because I know a lot of international students, they are relying on digital content. So yeah,
Mhm.
thank you. And this is wonderful.
Thank you.